Okay, everyone. So, hello and welcome back to this next chapter of the Pentax and me adventures. Today, tragedy struck, or almost struck, um, and I'll go into detail in a little detail of what happened and how to deal with a problem that might be relatively common. I'm not really sure, but it seems like it could be a pretty common problem. So, what happened was today when I went to insert the roll of film in the camera, well, if you've seen the last two videos, well, and first two videos I made, I basically bought this camera for really cheap, and my idea was to test it over the weekend with some film and see what kind of pictures I can expect from, a really cheap camera. So I thought I'd be a little proactive and pop the film in the camera before the weekend. So it was a really beautiful day today. It is a beautiful day in Amsterdam, and yeah, it made sense to go take some pictures. Well, when I went to open the back to pop the film in, I noticed this. Let me get it a little more. Let's assemble it a little just for demonstration purposes. So when I went to get the camera, I noticed the rewinding wheel, which also is the part you lift in order to open the back door, had come unscrewed and was just lying in my bag. And the threaded, I don't know what this is, rod, which is lifted and actually activates the back door latch when lifted. This, unfortunately, had been pressed into the body of the camera to the point where it was flush with the wheel here, and I couldn't really use my hand to pull it out again. So I tried I tried some form of assessment of the problem, and I actually made it worse because I tried feeling if it had some give, or if it would stop somewhere, just to get an idea of what the situation was. And when I did, the rod just slipped into the camera and fell into the housing compartment where the unexposed film is. So at this point, my camera was basically locked. The back door wouldn't open. I had no way to access the mechanism. A part of the camera had just fallen off and was inside, unretrievable. So, so I could have just thrown the camera because it's really cheap, and you can easily find other ones, by the way. So, but it was an interesting moment for some troubleshooting. So, first idea was to try and detach the whole top of the camera in order to see if I could gain access to the compartment, to the film compartment. Well, or at least open the back door. So the top is held in place by one screw, one smaller screw here, and two larger screws here. So once you take these off, you still aren't able to lift the whole top because it's being held in place obviously by these wheels. Well, by this lever and this wheel. And these aren't that, I mean, it's not so evident how you would unscrew them. I mean, I guess you have to pop this cap off, but I really don't. These are all the tools I had available today at home. So a completely useless hexagon screwdriver, a large screwdriver that in this case was used more as a prying tool, and a pair of nail scissors, which in this case was used as a screwdriver. So with limited number of tools and with limited quality in my tools, yeah, it wasn't the case to start disassembling a whole camera. But, this first idea seemed not to work. Second idea was to try and see if by removing the lens and, seeing if there was some way to access this compartment but from the inside, but that was a no-go. This is pretty well sealed for obvious reasons, and yeah, there's no way you get to the undeveloped film compartment from here. So the last resort, or well, the last resort I had was to remove the bottom panel. Again, 3 screws hold it in place. 1, 2, 3. You remove them, and this comes off really easily. Well, again, as you saw, I dropped it because you have to pull a little, and this is why, and I'm mentioning it because when you do pull it out, it's quite likely that the 2 batteries are going to just fall out. But batteries are easily replaceable or retrievable because they're pretty big. What you want to be careful for is this little plastic component that basically covers these contacts. This is probably going to fly out once you remove the back, and just be careful you don't lose it. It's a piece of the camera, and it might be a pretty important piece if you want those contacts to work. Well, seems to be in place now. Okay, well, let's just leave it there. Oh, okay. So, an interesting thing though, now that we have the camera open, and considering probably a lot of people won't be opening the camera, and considering it's a fail because there's no way to access the compartment we were interested in, and there's no way to access the latching mechanism from below. But one interesting thing, considering many people won't be opening their cameras, is seeing the film advancement and shutter cocking mechanism at play. So you can see it here. When I pull the lever, there you go. Let's see it again. Okay, now I'm no engineer, so I guess I'm not appreciating the beauty of what's going on right now, but I do see there's some beauty in it and some elegant functionality. But yeah, this is just for curiosity. Let's go back to the problem solving. So at this point I had exhausted my chances when I figured, well, I can try removing this wheel, and this is easier done than said, actually. You'll see there's this little, what looks like a washer with little bevels, 2 little indentations in it. This is pretty tightly screwed, so you might think it doesn't really come off easily, but it just requires a little bit of pushing anti-clockwise. Or pulling, always anti-clockwise though. And once you get it to move, it's just a matter of unscrewing it, and that'll come off. And once that's unscrewed, it's just a matter of removing the ASA and exposure compensation wheel. So there we go. And now we're left with even more disassembled camera. So this doesn't really, in the end, all these steps I made were relatively useless at some point because the fix, I mean, you can access the latch by just prying this, keeping this lifted. It's still useful to see though, all the, the pieces of camera that I was able to see in this unscrewing session. However, I'm not sure you'll be able to see it, but there's a little chrome tongue in there. You can just barely see the edge of it here, and below this chrome tongue, right on the side of the back door, is a very small, well, it's not very small, but it's hardly visible, and it's another little metal tongue. This time it's black, and if you can access it from here like this, and if you just pull it up, if you get a blade or something or a screwdriver in there, I hope you can see it moving. If you get it and you are able to push on that, to pull actually, then you'll be manually activating the latch and the camera will come open. So I wish there was a way to better see it, but I actually don't really see it that well either, and I'm right here. Just know and remember, if this happens to you, that right in this side where the hinge is, you have a little chrome tongue. It's a round wheel, and if you pull that up a little, just below it on the side here will be another metal tongue, black this time. If you just pull that up, that is going to activate your back latch, and you'll finally be able to access your camera. So here we go, problem solved. Next issue will be putting it back together, but I'm not going to spend half an hour on video messing things up, and I hope it'll be an easy rebuild. Should it not be, should I be facing any problems, I'll definitely update. I'll make a video about it to keep anyone who might be in need updated, but I'm hoping it's not going to be an issue. The only thing I can think of is that it might not be exactly easy to get this back in its original position, which I stupidly did not take into account. However, there must be some way to, I'll think about that later. For now, problem solved, one step forward, and hopefully by the end of the evening I'll be able to have my film popped in, and hopefully by tomorrow I'll be able to be shooting with it. So thank you for watching again, and I know this is, it's the third video on this Pentax, but yeah, why not? It doesn't cost anything to make these videos, and someone's always going to find it interesting and useful. By the way, there are some new ideas in store. I have a Ricoh camera on the way. I just bought it yesterday for €10 with its lens. It's an old Ricoh SLR. I don't even remember the model actually at the moment, but so stay tuned for that. Can't wait for that to come. And the next bigger project, bigger in the sense that I haven't really ever used it, but I've had it lying around for a while, is going to be this Yashica Flex. This picked it up at my grandfather's house, well, my late grandfather's house, and it's beautiful. It's just the magic of the ground glass and being able to see through such an old camera, being able to see what you're framing. This is just amazing for me. So I guess the next step will be the Ricoh, but I'm really quite enthusiastic about getting to play with this one. So, well, yeah, this is just a teaser basically. So I'll see you at the next video. But first we'll close the Pentax project, post some pictures, see the results, see what happened. And thank you for watching, everyone. Hopefully I'll see you soon. If you have anything to mention, questions, doubts, or criticism, just leave them in the comments. I'll be happy to address them. And feel free to subscribe. I know it's I just have a few videos up, but I'm planning on doing more, and all kinds of support is really useful and means a lot.